So for a moment or two, I invite you to just check out, is your belly tight? Probably so, because we're talking about something that scares the mind. It truly is the way home, but still it scares the mind because we have resisted discomfort our whole lives. But soften your belly and allow some long, slow out breaths. And you can even continue on with this kind of breath if it calls to you. As we now explore, how can you bring this to more than just physical pain? Well, we've already started talking about it a little bit with the mind. But the mind is so resistant because we all have been so wounded by life. You know, when we were taking on this struggling mind, we were tiny little beings. We lived in a little body. For heaven's sakes, our parents were giants to us. And they wounded us in ways that they didn't even know they were wounded, and they may have even loved us. But it seems like we have to take on this wounding. It seems to be a part of our journey through this earth walk. And slowly and surely, not only our parents, our siblings, our schools, our churches, the neighborhood, playmates, so on and so forth, we all took on a lot of wounds. And if you watch very carefully, you'll see that you learn how to hold your breath, tighten your body, and run away to this struggling mind. This mind that is always trying to get rid of discomfort and get to the good stuff. And so our lives become a juggling act. And we don't even realize we're caught in our heads, resistant to life, always trying to make it be better or different than what it is. If you doubt that, just think about, are you happy with your body exactly as it is? If you are a very rare person. What about your health? What about your mate or your friend or your teenage son or your next-door neighbor or even your dog? Are you always happy exactly with your dog exactly as it is? No, that's not the human conditioned mind. And so, like with your health, you get a cold. What's your relationship to the cold? Yuck. You get a crick in your neck. What's the relationship to the crick in your neck? Yuck. So you've called somebody, and they didn't return your call. What's your relationship to the feelings that are brought up? You have difficulty with your computer, and you call computer support line, and you're on hold for 20 minutes, and then when you finally get a person, they tell you you've called the wrong number or you've called the wrong department. What is your relationship to the uncomfortableness that arises in your mind and in your emotions? We do the same thing with those kind of discomforts as we do with our physical discomforts. And we can learn, we can use this template I am offering you today. We can use the same thing with our emotional discomfort. So say you've just gotten off the phone with the computer people and you didn't get any help whatsoever. And they said, our line is now closed, you have to call back again at 7 o'clock in the morning. what would it be like if for that moment you just noticed, oh my God, I'm in resistance. That's a moment of consciousness. That's a moment of relating to what you are experiencing rather than from it. And to have a moment, just like I did, with my mind when I was woken up with the lightning strike of pain, to just acknowledge that you're in resistance. Oh my God, this is so powerful. Because in that moment, you are outside of the world of struggle. You are who you really are. You are the consciousness that can see what is going on. And you can become curious about the storyline or about what happens in your body when you are truly frustrated and overwhelmed by your computer. It does take a while to learn how to do that with your thoughts and your feelings. So that's why we're starting with pain today. You train your mind. You begin to learn how to be curious. Oh my God, be what I call the tightness detective, because when we're out of our natural essence, which is spaciousness and light, we're tight. We resist. Become a tightness detective. Begin to investigate. Become fascinated. If it's stories, what is your story? What are you doing with the people that you just talked to, on the phone? Are you hating them? Are you seeking revenge? Are you feeling that, oh my God, I didn't say it right because they must hate me? Become fascinated with what is going on inside of you. You can do the same thing with your emotions. These feelings that maybe it's overwhelm. I mean, computers are my edge, and it's just not how my mind works. And boy, they can bring me to my edge so quickly. But now I wake up at my edge, and I can meet those really young feelings of life being way too much, and there's no way out, and this is never, ever going to change. I don't have to be at the mercy of them anymore. And so that's the power of cultivating what I call compassionate curiosity, the ability to begin to explore what you are experiencing rather than living in the suffering, in the deep, deep suffering of resistance. You can also become fascinated that when something doesn't go the way you want, and a lot of life doesn't go the way we want, and the mind doesn't like this. But when that happens, the mind lives in, why me? And where did this come from? You stub your toe on something on the floor. Watch the mind. God, who left that out? Or, oh my God, I'm so stupid I left that out. Or, I'm so stupid I wasn't paying attention. The other thing the mind does is, when is this going to leave? How can I get rid of this pain? I want you to get the sense that when that happens, you're stuck up in your mind and your pain, whether it's feelings, sensations, or even stories. Deeply need the light of your focused attention. So as you learn how to do this with yourself, you can learn how to do this with other people too. They're hurting. We're all hurting. We all long for love. We all long for discomfort to go away. We all feel wounded and yet don't want you to know that we are wounded. And so we can be like prickly pears. So when you're with somebody, especially if they're being difficult, you can learn, just as you develop this muscle of compassionate curiosity with yourselves, you can learn how to be there with another person, not taking on their suffering, but giving them the light of your compassionate attention. And you may not even need to say anything, but they calm down. That's the magic of discovering what we are exploring here today. So I want to read to you a poem that came to me in my 20s, and it was like a beacon of light. It was like I lived in a very, very dark, rocky field, and there was just this one little beacon of light, across the field. And when I read this poem, just something opened up inside of me. Of course, the resistance to pain closed right back down again. But I kept on reading this poem. And I think that hopefully it may touch you the way it touches me. Pain stayed so long, I said to him today. I will not have you with me anymore. I stomped my foot and said, be on your way. And paused, startled at the look he wore. I, who have been your friend, he said to me, I, who have been your teacher, all you know of understanding, love, sympathy, and patience, I have taught you. Shall I go? He spoke the truth, this strange, unwelcome guest. I watched him leave and knew he was wise. He left a heart grown tender in my breast. He left a far, clear vision in my eyes. I dried my tears and lifted up a song, even for one who tortured me so long. So I'm going to read this again because it's just such a profound poem. And I want you to bring into your life your edge, whether it's a health crisis or a emotional crisis with a loved one or a financial crisis. I want you to bring it into your mind's eye and allow it to move into your heart as you hear this poem again. Pain stayed so long, I said to him today, I will not have you with me anymore. I stamped my foot and said, be on your way, and paused there, startled at the look he wore. I, who have been your friend, he said to me, I, who have been your teacher, all you know of understanding, love, sympathy, and patience, I have taught you. Shall I go? He spoke the truth, this strange, unwelcome guest. I watched him leave and knew that he was wise. He left a heart grown tender in my breast. He left a far, clear vision in my eyes. I dried my tears and lifted up a song, even for one who had tortured me so long. So you're not defective or broken for having the pain you have. That, just like the yin and yang symbol, dark and light are nestled together, and they're not on opposite sides of a line. And in the light is a point of dark, and in the dark is a point of light. That pain is a part of life. Everything changes, and everybody we love will die before us and will die before them, and this body, this temporary abode, will eventually break down. But hopefully this exploration today will begin to change your relationship to all the challenges in life, to all